Okay, I just started recording. We were just shooting the bull here, and I just hit record. So
Good.
Missing some good stuff. So, welcome, Jason, and your big cup of coffee.
Really not that big. I don't know. Maybe it's just the.
Do you have a small head or what?
Maybe I just need to back up.
Jeez.
It's still pretty big.
Oh my goodness.
Wahlberg, are you in the Twin Cities right now? Hudson, where are you at?
Hudson, Wisconsin. Yes, sir.
Hudson, Wisconsin. Nice.
Kimmy says that we should never tell anybody where we are. Is that a thing?
I mean, if this was a live video, maybe.
What's that?
If it was a live video?
Yeah.
Should I be concerned for my well-being? I'm in Hudson, Georgia.
Well, to me, Wahlberg, you're a special guest here. So,
Well, much appreciated.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
What? Just to kick things off here, what is it that you do?
Well, I can speak generally that I run an insurance and investment practice.
Okay.
And it's sales. It's what it is.
Perfect. So I was thinking last night, and I was like, memories with Wahlberg, and one of the top memories that came to mind was rally racing.
Oh my!
And you were kind of a crazy driver when we were younger, and
crazy yet in control. I remember only one incident, and it was very minor. Otherwise, it was pretty well controlled. And I remember those days as well because I don't live far from there now.
Yeah, so we had this new development, and there was a lot of snow. When I remember this winter, and so you had the road, but then you had huge banks of snow on the edge of the road, and we were rally racing, and Jason always drove. And yes, you were in control, but it probably was dangerous. And I was making the connection. I was like, yeah, now he sells life insurance because
very risk averse. Yeah, who knew? Just took a few rally racing laps.
But you're probably one of my longest time friends, I would say.
Likewise.
Jeez, that way, we still talk consistently.
Yeah.
I think we probably started pounding the pavement with the rollerblades in like fourth graders.
Oh yeah. Good old days.
Can we get some photos of that? Is there any archive footage of those rollerblades? I'm sure there's some good outfits that went along with them.
Very bright neon outfits, I would imagine.
I wish, because this guy used to do 360s off this jump behind his house, and he would fly like 35 feet in the air. I promise you. Another good reason to have life insurance.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I think about those days too. Can't believe that there weren't more broken bones.
Well, I did write down some questions. Colbert, do you have anything that?
No, I didn't write anything down. But Wahlberg, what you're running your own firm now? Is it like Wahlberg and Associates, or are you with a bigger operation? What without saying any names, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I do just have to tread lightly.
Yeah.
Can't give any recommendations or anything, but I do work with Country Financial. So we do home, auto, life, commercial, everything on the investment side. But yeah, so it's just me with one full-time assistant right now, with the hopes to continually grow from here. It's only been 7 months since I took on this role.
Nice. One-man shop with an assistant. That's That's impressive.
It's great.
Nice. So let's see if you can answer this question.
All right. Thanks for shooting these to me prior so I could prepare.
Well, this was on my drive home last night at midnight, so I was like, oh yeah, that's good.
I was in bed at 8 p.m., so fire when ready.
So it's speaking in terms of just financial intelligence, what's something that you know now that maybe you wish you knew when you were 20?
I think the easiest answer for that is just start investing small. You know, just back then you live for the minute and don't have the foresight that you do at, you know, knocking on the door of 40, I guess. And I think part of it too is just being in this profession. I've seen people from all walks of life, that some that have and some that haven't done their due diligence on putting away some money for their future. And it's something that I have certainly committed to, and that my wife maybe thinks I'm over committed to, on preparing, that I won't be one of those that is unprepared for retirement. And
Right.
That's something that I want to enjoy and not have any financial worries.
What are you most passionate about in your job? I mean, it's like your job to convince people that that's a good thing. And I'm sure, I mean, we're all on the same page there, I believe. But there's a lot of people out there that you're just like, oh man, I just want to help them, but they don't want to be helped. Probably.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I would say there isn't a ton of that. Excuse me, because most people do understand it. And, you know, with people living longer, I feel like more and more people are seeing their own relatives or people close to them that are maybe suffering. And so it doesn't take a whole lot of convincing. I would say that, I would also say that I don't consider myself a salesman. I hate salespeople. If they're overly salesy, but I would say that I try to do my best as an educator for them. And that's where it's, you know, you get everybody on the same page, and then, you know, you're in agreement and alignment of your thoughts and actions, and that's where we can be successful together.
Heck yeah. It's such a big and interesting world, learning how you can plan for your future. My head just spins all the time.
I know, that's why I get your phone calls and texts.
I do also really appreciate you as a friend and like hearing your voice.
Huh? Nice hat, by the way. Mine's in the closet over there. Thank you for that. I have the same hat as him, Kobler.
I can't quite tell what that is.
Hop Slam.
Oh, Hop Slam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good beer.
We were at the brewery and I said, Kimmy, I need 3 of these.
Wait, who's got number 3?
Yeah, me still.
Oh, back up.
Oh, he's waiting to give one away. Wahlberg, I've got a question for you. I didn't write anything down, but I'm just I'm shooting from the hip here too. From a insurance perspective and being in that profession, what do you think about self-driving cars?
Oh, that's a good question. I can tell you that my experience on the auto insurance, home insurance side of the industry is only 7 months long, whereas I've been on the life insurance and investment side for about 15 years. So,
okay.
I don't know. That's a good question. In my short experience, it's not a positive for the insurance business, just because it seems uncontrolled. But also, I think the home and auto side of the business is hurting industry wide. It's just today's storms are crazy. I literally feel like every rainstorm that came through the Twin Cities this summer had hail, and that does damage to homes and autos that are outside. So, and then the winters people don't know how to drive up here, so that's what we get. So anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if long term there's some blanket approach to insurance versus all the individual companies in it. I know that a lot of the companies are focusing more on the life insurance and financial side because it is more revenue producing. So it's I don't know. I think that whole industry is similar to healthcare that is looking to have a complete overhaul at some point.
Yeah, it is interesting. You know, as a consumer, it's not exactly like a Netflix to a Blockbuster, but it's an entirely new field or new invention. I don't know what you'd even call it, but it's a major shift. And, you know, probably in our lifetime, we'll see at least the front end of it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think about from an insurance perspective, you know, with auto and you know, I guess life and home, you know, if something veers off a road or just property in general.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a separate line item right now for auto insurance, that you have a higher premium if you had a self-driving car? Or are we not? Is there even a self-driving car out there? I don't know.
Not to my knowledge. I'm pretty confident that there is a Mercedes as well as a Tesla that have automated modes. The Volvo as well, but I just quoted a Tesla not too long ago, and the rates weren't that astronomical in my opinion. You'd think that might add a component. However, maybe they also look at that potentially as a safety feature that,
Yeah,
you know, that is potentially bringing rates down or keeping them stable, if not raising them. So I'm not an underwriter. I don't know. I don't want to be. I don't pretend to be. You know, that'd be a better question for somebody in that capacity. But there's my 2 cents on it.
Interesting.
So I've been seeing these videos flash on Facebook. The #1 stock for 2020.
I mean, you've been Googling stock questions.
Yeah, we know what Par's been typing into Google.
Yeah, because I get the same updates. Yeah, it's like, you know, top 5 stocks for 2020. I guess I haven't even clicked on it to see what it is, but chances are it's not going to be of much value.
Is there anything that you're reading right now, or what are you reading right now, just to kind of sharpen the saw?
Yeah, so I guess a couple of things on that. I don't read. I hate reading. So I am in love with the invention called Audible because I have about a 30-minute commute every day, and then it's great on the treadmill, elliptical, whatever you're doing. So I guess I would say that the one book that I always go back to, if you guys haven't gotten into Grant Cardone, he's just an incredible speaker, and on Audible he reads his own books, and to get that passion coming through from the author, it's fantastic. And then the curse words that he also adds in are fantastic. You really feel what he's saying. And actually right now I'm in it's The Wolf of Wall Street. What the heck's his name?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jordan
Belfort.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Way of the Wolf. I'm halfway through that one. I also just finished The Source, which you're probably familiar with. The Secret. If you're not familiar with The Secret, I would highly recommend that one. But yeah, and you know, part of my thoughts prior to coming on here was, you know, with the title, the Perpetual Growth Podcast, and that is my, I guess, leading thought in growth in general is just a mindset, and that's where I get a lot of mine. It's I think there's a small subset of the population that have it innately, that maybe don't need it from the outside, but I'm not one of them. I'm not going to pretend to be. So that's where I get a lot of that. But also, I'm in the midst of improving myself credentially with the retirement income certified professional designation, in which that's 3 tests, and then I'll move on to the CFP after that one. But that's where I'm at. How about you guys?
I'm reading a book called Lead Generate, 61 Days to Double Your Pay, which is interesting. It's I was at an event, and the author was handing the books out essentially as business cards, which was not only an interesting strategy in my opinion, but it's a pretty good book. Kind of every chapter is a day, and you pick something out, or he identifies something to do that day. Scott Groves is his name, and he's a mortgage originator in California.
Okay.
It's a good one. What else? I mean, I've been in the last 2 weeks, I've been paging through Money Master the Game almost as a reference guide. Chatting with some friends about what's inside that book. And I just got another copy of Nonviolent Communication, which I think those two, Money Master the Game and Nonviolent Communication, are almost like reference guides that I will probably keep around or have close by in some capacity forever.
Yeah. I forget. I've been through Money Master the Game and Unshakable. I forget which one is the longer version and which one is the kind of the cliff notes of the other.
I think Money Master the Game is probably the longer one because it's about 650 pages.
Okay.
Unshakable is a cliff note version. I don't know if I've heard of that.
It is. Yeah, it's yeah, I've got them both on Audible, but yeah, it's when I went through it, I was like, oh, this is all recap of Money Master the Game.
Oh, really? Okay.
But yeah, it basically, as you know, it's just creating revenue for yourself, making your money, earn you money.
Yeah. I just started listening to Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, because you guys both know that Rich Dad, Poor Dad really set with me, and I listened to that twice, and they referenced this Cash Flow Quadrant book in there. So I actually just started listening to that yesterday on my run.
Nice.
And I, in the 25 minutes I was running, pretty much all he got through was how he got into education. And he, one thing that he hated was education. And I'm talking about Robert Kiyosaki here. He hated education because his poor dad was a professor who tried to teach him to go to school, get a good job, be a spoke on the wheel of society. So he didn't like education. But then when, he went to this weekend seminar and just fell in love with this type of alternative education. And now he's best known for being an educator, a financial educator around the world. And, just what you were saying, what you feed your mind is so important. Couple other things that Kobler and I are doing is, we've been talking about trying to start a more of a business side of Perpetual growth, and toy around with investments together, pool our resources. So we have some commitments between last week and this week to do some research on some investments. So kind of spreading our wings a little bit there. And that's something that I'm real excited about, because just think it's going to be fun. You feel a little less risk when you act together, I would say, versus acting alone, and maybe have a little more resources and obviously more mind power to do things.
Mm-hmm.
They say dumb guys make money, so I feel pretty good about doing that.
Yeah.
Wahlberg, I know you don't want to give any advice. I don't want to put you in a tough spot, but I'm just I'm trying to think of a question that I can ask that will get a good response, but not make you too uncomfortable. So I'll try to keep it simple. When I say cash value life insurance, what are some of the first things that pop into your head?
Life insurance.
Cash value.
Okay.
One and the same, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, I can speak more freely on that because it's not an investment. Cash value life insurance can be used as an asset in a portfolio, and it can also be used as a cash flow tool in the future. I think my view on it has shifted, I guess, over the last 15 years in the business. It's, with just the market in general, interest rates, everything else, I would say that it's something that can be used as, similar to a self-funded pension plan. But it also is certainly something to do your research on and know what you're getting into, know that it is a commitment. It is not a flexible vehicle. It is something that you are basically locking yourself into, but also it's a rather black and white vehicle, from a risk standpoint, very risk adverse, not a whole lot of flexibility to it, but that's by design. And know that short term, you're going to hate it. It's not a good thing short term, but you're not looking for the benefits short term if that's something you're getting into. It's a long term tool that you're using. So kind of a long-winded answer, but it's something to do your research on, just like anything else.
Have you read the book, or have you ever heard of Garrett Gunderson?
What do you know the title of the book?
No, I'm sorry. The author is called Garrett Gunderson. The title of the book is called "What Would the Rockefellers Do?"
Oh, I've only heard that through Damon Parr. That inspired one of the text and phone calls that we had. But yeah, that concept is it's old. Whole life insurance isn't a new product. It's been around for 100 and almost probably close to 200 years. And the use of it is a generational legacy tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The wheels turning on you too.
No, what I'm thinking about is it's very expensive. It's a
piece.
It's a tough. I think it's a tough monthly payment for a lot of people to have the amount of that you'd really like to have.
Well, that goes back to your first question of what would I say to my 20-year-old self.
Mm-hmm.
It's get it young. I can tell you I have policies on both my kids. You can't get it at a better insurance cost than age 0. So, that's something for a little foresight for you. But the other piece is that it's not designed to be a retirement cornerstone. It's a piece of the puzzle, and that's where you first, I would say, look at your budget. What is the discretionary amount that you're willing and able to save on a monthly basis, and then break that down. Where is a piece of that going to go? A piece could go to life insurance. The rest, you don't want to be that risk adverse, in my opinion. You want to have a piece that is probably going to earn better than what the life insurance can. So, like I said, it can be used as a piece of the overall puzzle, but not the piece.
Yeah, something that in that book, which was so, what would the Rockefellers do? How have they kept their wealth? The author, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Kobler, but he blatantly said that they basically have, bought these life insurance policies, and it has guaranteed the wealth of the future generations of Rockefellers.
That's the Cliff Notes. They have those policies, and then other instruments kind of laying out how they can and can't be used.
So it's like if I could pay for, I kind of took it like this: if I could pay for a $5 million policy, then my kid my kids would be guaranteed $5 million when I die.
Right.
Which might be more than I can accumulate over my life. I mean, at this point, it looks like it probably is, but you never know. The future's a big place. You know, but it's like you can buy wealth in that way.
You're talking about two different things, though. You're talking, originally the question was about cash value life insurance, and right now you're talking about death benefit.
Yeah.
They're separate. So the concept of cash value life insurance that you originally referenced was using the living benefit of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking strictly for death benefit, I wouldn't use cash value life insurance. It's too expensive. Guaranteed universal life insurance is like a lifetime term. It's not as expensive as whole life, but it's not as cheap as term insurance. It's a middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
But there is where anybody can, that's insurable and healthy, can purchase a guaranteed death benefit policy. If that's the play, is strictly legacy, no cash value, no living benefit, you don't want whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's different vehicles, there's different options, and that's where, again, it's a matter of figuring out what somebody's trying to accomplish to determine what is best.
So if I understand this correctly, the cash, so the monthly payment that I'm putting towards the cash flow insurance, I could take out that amount of cash at any time to use. So what that's where I get hung up. It's a small percentage.
Short term, absolutely not. It is a terrible place to put money short term. And I mean, you're literally looking at a 20 to 30 year timeline without hurting yourself or the policy long term. You know, and that's where it's certainly an in-depth conversation we can take offline. But it's, you know, and I'm just being upfront with you. It's not a short term place to put money. You know, it's not a savings account. It's not something that you can put $100 in and take $100 out. That first $100 is definitely gone. And the next 10 to 20 of those is probably gone too.
All right, now I'm putting you on the spot.
It's not getting any warmer in here. It's all right.
and maybe it's not an on the spot question, but what's a big thing that you'd like to accomplish in 2020?
I would say two things come to mind. The first is the designation piece that I touched on before for professionally anyway. But also then I want to add a staff member, you know, more on the sales side. I think I need the sales. I had somebody on the sales side before bringing in another admin staff member. You know, shame on me. I've thought more on my professional goals than I have even on my personal goals, which I guess designations is personal as well. But, you know, I don't know. I haven't really thought on the personal side. Yeah. How about yourself?
It's funny. I asked Kimmy what should my personal goals be, or what should my goals be for the family for the next 3 months? And she said, put the laundry away immediately. You know, with the work that I do, I'm gone a lot of nights. So, you know, try to be home 3 to 4 nights a week for dinner, even if that meant, you know, I'm working after dinner or whatever, cook dinner once a week at least. You know, it's interesting because I'm thinking more big things like, I guess these aren't big things, but two things that I wrote down were I want to make sure that at least once every couple months that I'm active in Johnny and Jane's school. So, you know, you can go there and you can read stories to the class or whatever. I want to make sure that I'm doing that because, you know, it's just something that you take for granted and it could pass you by, and it's really important. And, but what I was going to say is it's really interesting that, you know, those really little things are the things that are important to Kimmy.
Yeah.
thinking, okay, how can I move a mountain here?
Yeah, right.
It's really not the thing that's important. So
those are good. Kohler, what's on the Kohler radar?
Kohler radar. I would say, obviously this time of year, big conversations about what you want to do, what you want to, personal, professional. Mine's still the same as my mission statement when we actually started putting, this podcast out there. I just want to be better than I was yesterday. And that is very general, but also very specific in my opinion. And that as long as I can go to sleep and feel comfortable about what I did that day, I'm going to be fine with it. Last year was probably the first year where I kind of got out of the cycle of New Year's resolutions and January 1st. And obviously there's a lot of momentum or hype around it. And, everyone's amped up around the new year. I just don't feel that anymore. If it's the middle of September or, the middle of April, I'm still trying to do whatever I can. And, with my profession and the structure that my revenue comes in, without a consistent paycheck, it's something that I look at completely differently over the last 18 months versus the previous 30 plus years. That's my summary. I could probably ramble on for another hour about it. And I know I've touched on it prior, but it's an ongoing thing. And, whether it's a designation or a book or something I see out in public that someone does that, I pull a little nugget from them or hear something, I go back and listen to these conversations and pull out pieces of info that maybe I missed the first time around, or maybe didn't click the first time around. And then you can go into reading books more than once. If you've ever read a book more than once, there's surely been at least one part where you're like, oh, I didn't catch that the first time, or I thought it was, worded a little differently the first time. So, without boring everyone to death here, I would say it's every day just trying to move that needle a little bit further. And that needle will never, get to a point where it can't keep moving further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Specifically for perpetual growth, I kind of told you, Wahlberg, what I think the direction that we're going here, what we're trying to do is, Kobler and I, it's like we want to tell the story of two guys kind of getting out of the rat race. And we have our, Kobler's got his business. I have the job that I work, which I consider a pretty good job, and I'm certainly not leaving that because it's a good, steady source of income. But I want to over time work on the asset column and make sure that there are some good, solid foundations there going forward. And that's really what I want to try to do over the next 3 months. So I said that we will have done research on at least 12 investment opportunities, and we're going to act on 3 of them. And this is by March 31st. And these could be really small, but just something to start. Obviously, you're not going to make a huge difference in a short term, but you just got to start taking action if you're going to learn.
Sure.
So, and then we want to share whatever we have learned, with everyone, whoever's going to watch this or whoever wants to learn with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, that's really what I what I want to do. If we can give, people just one little nugget or idea that they could take to hopefully, perpetually grow themselves.
Ding.
Then we're in business.
Good.
And there's something else that I was just listening to this Gary Vee podcast, and this is my job side of things. This is the restaurant industry. And this was just fascinating to me. What they were talking about is if a customer comes into your restaurant, yeah, everybody's getting short on time here, but can I do this or not?
Mm-hmm.
For it.
Go for it.
This can be relevant to selling insurance or selling homes, I'm sure. If a customer comes into your restaurant and they have a flawless experience, what do you think the chances of them returning are?
60%.
30%.
Yeah, have you watched this one? Yeah, it's 30. That's what they said.
Nailed it.
So if they come back a second time and it's flawless again, it only goes up to 40%. But then if you can get them back the third time and it's flawless, then it goes up to 70%. And then you pretty much have them as a customer. So, in our business, we do a great job of trying to retain customers if we screw up, so we'll replace and refund, no questions asked. You call me and say, there's a purple monkey on my pizza. And I say, oh my God, how did that purple monkey get there? We're sending you.
Prove it.
But what's fascinating about this is like when you know that you're giving somebody a great pizza, fast, hot, exactly what they want, then you give them a coupon with that order to come back next time. So you increase the odds that they're going to come back for that second time. So, maybe they order a pizza, I give them a coupon for free topper sticks. They come back, they have the topper sticks. That's the second time. Now you love the topper sticks. Okay, now try our monkey bread. Here's a coupon for free monkey bread. So you're
purple monkey bread?
Yeah, purple monkey bread maybe. So then you're getting them to come back the third time. And what they said is customers, you shouldn't discount. Customers get addicted to discounting, but customers don't get addicted to free. It's people don't expect free. So you can give them free once, twice, maybe 3 times, but then they're not going to expect it the 4th time. But then you've earned their business. So that's something that I really want to act on in my job over the next few months. I want us to be great at that, and because we haven't been, we just haven't done that. And it kind of seems fascinating to me to see if we can grow the business a little bit faster, because it's all about top line and pizza. If the top line's not where it needs to be, then you just don't have a chance. So
Pizza 101.
Can't pinch pennies to make $1, that's for sure.
No. I would imagine that's hard to relate to real estate, Pilbler.
Yeah, not really. Haven't really connected the dots quite yet, but it's still early.
We'll take that offline.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Wahlberg, awesome seeing you, man.
Likewise. Thanks for the invite.
Good luck out there in 2020. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon. And Par, I'll talk to you very soon as well. I'm gonna bounce.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys.
Later, guys.
Have a great one.
You too.